Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Jameelah, and I am a master manifestor, and I'm sure you are too, because you are watching content like this. The name of this channel is Holistic Manifesting, because I believe in a whole body, whole mind, and whole being experience when it comes to manifesting these amazing lives that we are choosing to live. What I am discussing in this video is accepting that you're not perfect is such a relief. Now, when I say this, I'm speaking from the perspective that I don't even believe there's a specific perfection that exists, right? I think that it is an invisible concept that keeps us all striving for something that is never going to be accessible to us, right? I was telling this to my oldest daughter the other day. She was going on about something happening in one of her environments. And how this person always has something to tell her and stuff. And I said, well, are they in charge or whatever? And is what they're saying something that you need to be doing or working on? I'm just curious. And she's like, possibly, but when I'm doing everything perfectly, I don't see why they have to say anything. I said, the biggest issue that you're having is that you want to be beyond reproach. You want to be a person to where you feel like if you're doing everything so perfect and it's so in a line and you got all your ducks in a row and everything appears to be squeaky clean, that nobody should have anything to say about you. And I was like, and that is not the way life works. I was like, when you can get to the place where you just fully accept that I'm going to fall short of somebody's expectations. I'm going to fall short of my own expectations. I'm going to fail at things that I try to succeed at. But, if you have the right mindset, you won't call it failures. You'll say that they were, learning moments where you can say, this is what I learned from it, and this is how I'm going to grow and move forward. If you can accept that those are the ways in which that we operate in life, you can find so much relief and peace at the end of the day. Believing that you're supposed to live a life or be a person to where people are not going to make fun of you. People are not going to treat you poorly when they don't know who you are. Or, once they know that you won't be bothered with it, then they'll realize sometimes too late. Most of the time it's too late, right? That you're not going to be in places where people are going to squander you. I was writing in my journal the other night, and I have this part because I was using my own journal, of course, the one on Amazon, and it's stop waiting on other people's gratitude journal. And so I tend to buy myself a journal from myself every now and then because I have some spares, but I just don't know where they're at around the house. But I was going to the week at the end of the week. I have a section in there where I put what are some self-concepts that you really didn't care for? What are some things? And one of the things that I felt like I was really a little bit bothered by was the idea that I've been in environments and around people and places, and I felt that I was squandered to a degree. Like I was giving all that I had, and I was sharing all that I knew, and I was showing up in the best version I thought was possible for myself at any given time. And yet it was misused or abused, or it was dismissed, and it was treated as if it was running a mill, and it was just average, everyday going kind of mindset and kind of person. And I was thinking to myself, like, what did you not like? And I said that I've been squandered in many occasions, right? But just releasing on that, it reaffirms and it helps me realize that it is a relief when you realize that these things are going to occur in your life. It's a relief when you realize that people are going to squander people all the time. They do it all the time because they can't see at the level at which they're not at. It just doesn't work that way. And you may squander other people by mistake. It happens all the time, right? You're going to be in situations to where you fall short. You almost got it. You were almost good enough. You were almost a choice. You were almost what other people wanted. It doesn't mean you don't stop seeing yourself as the best, but just know that it's going to be situations to where it's not recognized. And then the idea of perfection of getting everything in a row and being beyond reproach is only going to make you exhausted. I mean, you can have the most tidiest house. You can have everything clean and spick and span. You can be cooking every day. You can clean it. All these things. You can be the perfect housewife, mom, all these sort of things. And if you get in the wrong environments, people will pick you apart and tell you what's wrong with you. So it really doesn't matter what the outside is saying at any given time. So when I say accept that you're not perfect, and that is a relief when you do so, I'm not saying that you lower yourself down to believing what other people are saying or believing what's happening on the outside. That's not the case. But what you do is lower your expectations for how other people can see you. because you're not in charge of that. You're not in charge of how other people choose to categorize you, organize you, say what you are and who you are. And you don't get to do that. I mean, I'm currently working on a project now to discusses single motherhood. And it's a really cool project. I'm very excited about it. Anyway, but I was going through one of the chapters and I was writing some stuff. And I was thinking about how it doesn't matter what you are. Sometimes people can automatically come up with a negative concept about who you are. Now, of course, me being me, I don't buy into any of it. But I hope you don't either. But it's just the idea that if I was sitting there getting caught up on trying to prove to people all the time that I was this or I was that, what I'm essentially saying is that I don't feel like I'm this or that because I'm involved in a low level, low vibration, low frequency conversation to try to make myself look like what I already know that I inherently am on the inside. So just because someone else is choosing to pick one piece of me apart and say, loser, or, this or that or whatever, and I'm just like, okay. Okay. And that's how you got to get. It's such a relief because then you have no expectation walking around that people are going to see you in all of your greatness and glory. They're going to love everything about you. They're going to appreciate everything about you. They're going to recognize what you call perfect, and you both would be calling perfect the same thing. And that's another thing I was telling my older daughter. I was like, what you're seeing as perfect may not even be on their radar. So you just got to keep that in mind. And the relief comes in when you realize you don't have to uphold that story. You don't have to be the foundation for that narrative that there's a such thing as a perfection of me. And when I achieve it, then other people around me will recognize it and I won't have to feel like less than what I am because they'll never say anything rude or ugly or this and that to me. And I'm like, it doesn't even work like that. And I was like, going to be honest with you, you don't even want to get in a place in your life to where other people can't say things to you, even if it's things that are unfounded. Even if it's things that are not true or you don't see any value in, you want to get to a place that if they say it and it doesn't have any value to you, or if it's not real, or if it's just negative, you can just like brush it off your shoulder and keep on going. And then you also want to get in a place to where if they say something that it is founded and there is some truth in it and there is something in there that you want to work on, that you're able to say, hey, I didn't like the way that was said. But you know what? There's some truth in that. That's an area that I've been working on. And maybe, my energy around working on it and the way that I'm hyper aware about it right now is the reason why it even came up in this conversation. I'm like, you don't want to get to a place where people can't have regular conversations with you. I mean, and you already know me doing YouTube and having a channel. People come in the comments all the time and say things. A lot of time it's just, correcting something they think I said wrong. That's very common. And a lot of times, most of the time, it's like, this is, resonating with me. This was a beautiful conversation. I'm so happy you brought this topic up. That's what it is 80% of the time. But I do get times to where, people are in a video 2 minutes in and they're like, this is wrong. This is it. And I'm like, okay. And I don't react poorly to it because this was so funny. Most of the time when they approach it like that, they're usually in the wrong. It doesn't even really matter to me, but generally they are. Because I'm like, I was like, did you watch the whole video? Did you take the whole thing in? And generally, no. But I don't want to get to a place to where people don't feel like they can pop in and just say stuff like that because maybe I might learn something. Maybe I am looking at it the wrong way, right? And a lot of times, even if I'm on the right track with something or I feel like I'm on the right track with it, they further, solidify a really strong belief that I have about something. So it really doesn't matter what information comes in. When people realize that you're not taking information personally, a lot of times, this is so funny, people want a negative reaction, so they'll go away because they want you to take it personally. They want you to be offended. They want you to feel, less than. They want you to, I don't know what they want you to, I was telling my daughter, when people criticize people, I'm like, what do they expect them to do? Go hide under a rock? No, they're still going to exist and be who they are. And nobody has to be changing every aspect of who they are to make other people happy. But it's like, a lot of times it opens the door to like friendships, connections, and community that you didn't even know existed. But because you're so worried about people selling you something or not, agreeing with your idea of perfection, you miss these opportunities, right? So just keep that in mind. Letting go of being perfect is such a relief. It brings you so much peace. It's like you can be in spaces and be around people. It's like, oh yeah, she said she didn't like that about me. That's fine. And you know, every once in a while, maybe once a week or maybe once every 2 weeks, you may have a mind attack and be like, how dare that person, blah, 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 blah. And then just know that it's just a moment and be like, because you know how dare, because they have a mouth and they have opinions and they have thoughts and they can believe and say whatever they want. But whether or not I absorb that, that's up to me. So accepting that you're not perfect, especially to other people, is a huge relief. And it'll freeze you up and it gives you peace and harmony in your life that you can use to create the things that you choose and you can use to allow the beautiful things to flow into your life. Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day.